So, hello everyone again. It's very nice to have you here with us today. And to we will hold a workshop for you about GitHub. And in particular, Artemi will show you how it's done, how it's working, and all the basics that you need to really get a hang of if you want to start working in GitHub. So we can go to the next slide. And yes, these are just to recap, because we held an event about GitHub, more theoretical one earlier, and this is a small recap, some of the points that I feel like would be good to revise before we start. So GitHub is basically, as you probably know, and as we mentioned in our last session, it is a great environment filled up with tools and great people from communities that helps you to store, manage, all of this into code. So you can store your code there, you can manage your code, track and control changes that have been done to your code or someone else's code. You can share it, publish, and network. And I think networking is really the biggest feature of GitHub, because not only you can build your portfolio there, and if you will be you are a kind of a developer at this point, because maybe you're just taking the first steps, or I don't know. It's very important to build yourself a portfolio. So I think GitHub can be kind of quite a LinkedIn of programmers. At least this is how I view it. And you can also collaborate with people all over the world on some projects. And I think this is one of the first things that you see when you go to GitHub, actually. So this was a small recap for you, and hopefully it helped just to revise the information that we had on the previous session. And now I will give the stage to Artemi, and he will guide us through all the things that GitHub offers.
Thank you, Evgenia. Here, one more slide, we could see the main features of GitHub that we have. We will cover some of them today, some of them were covered in our previous session. So once again, my name is Artemi, and today we will together follow the GitHub Learning Lab course called Introduction to GitHub. Our agenda: we will answer the following questions, considering the practical aspects such as what are issues and pull requests, how do you create branch and commits, and how do you use GitHub Pages, and so on. This, after the workshop, you will be able to communicate with the other team members in issues, manage notifications, create your personal branches and make commits. Also, you learn how introduce changes and pull requests, as well as make a review. And finally, we deploy web page using GitHub Pages. So let's go to our course. So please feel free to ask any questions, and Evgenia, please follow the chat and interrupt me in case of any questions related to the material. So I hope you could see my screen now at GitHub Learning Lab page, right? Yeah, great. So let's start our course. Yep, public in English. Yep. Let's wait some time for some preparations. Yeah. Okay, good. Now we're in the course. Let's start this one. Okay, so after we start the course, a repository called GitHub slideshow is created automatically, and now we're located at the issues tab inside the getting started with GitHub issue. So if you miss our previous session, let's look at a short video about the GitHub that's explain you some info in more details.
What is GitHub?
I hope you could see my sounds. Yep, is it right? Good.
Well, GitHub is a platform that helps people solve problems by building software together. So, how does it work? This is Sam. Sam works on tractors all day, but not in the way you might be thinking. She builds the software that helps make tractors more efficient. And she does this on GitHub with the help of her team, VJ, Melinda, and Mike. Now, even though they all work on the same project, Sam and her team don't all work in the same part of the world. This is Eddie. Eddie also works on tractors all day, except he actually works on the tractors all day. And this is the Harvester L700. It's the latest flagship in the company's fleet of tractors. It's full of sensors and processors that produce a ton of diagnostic data. Eddie has a great idea for how farmers might share their data and improve their harvests. So Eddie opens an issue on GitHub. Issues are discussion threads where people can report bugs, request features, or even just ask questions. Sam is the first one on her team to see Eddie's issue, and she thinks that VJ would be the best person to start the job. And here's where we get into the nuts and bolts. Eddie isn't the only person using the Harvester L700. All over the world, other tractors are collecting moisture data, and they need to keep running smoothly even while VJ is working on the new features. He needs a dedicated place to experiment, so none of his changes end up on the farm before they're ready. So he creates a branch of the code, an alternate timeline where he can safely make changes to the software. Now he's ready to start writing the new feature. GitHub tracks VJ's changes and saves snapshots of his progress. When he's ready to collaborate on the changes with his team, he opens a pull request on GitHub. Pull requests let you show others the changes you're proposing so they can review and discuss them. This means VJ's teammates can help with roadblocks and even make improvements. On GitHub, everyone has a copy of the project. So if Melinda has an idea for something that will help make VJ's work even better, she can add it to the branch herself. GitHub keeps a record of everyone's contributions and feedback in the pull request, alongside relevant messages from the team's other systems. Once the team has signed off on the changes, VJ can incorporate the new code into the project. The new feature will be available to everyone as soon as he merges it in. Now farmers everywhere can all benefit from Eddie's great idea. But this is really only the beginning of the story. Because GitHub is the largest community of developers in the world, with millions of people sharing their projects, Eddie's idea could end up helping people in unimaginable ways. What kinds of problems are you trying to solve? Whether you're an engineer, a code enthusiast, or even a farmer trying to harvest grain, software touches every corner of our lives. GitHub is where people build that software. It's how they build software, together.
Okay, good. I hope it's a bit clear now about what is a GitHub, and let's dive a bit deeper into technical aspects and watch one more video about GitHub Repository, what actually it is.
The GitHub Repository is the container that holds everything related to your project. The code view is where you will find the files included in the repository. These files may contain the project code, documentation, and other important files. We also call this view the root of the project. Any changes to these files will be tracked via Git version control. The README is a special file that we recommend all repositories contain. GitHub looks for this file and helpfully displays it below the repository. The README should explain the project and point readers to helpful information within the project. Issues are used to track bugs and feature requests. Issues can be assigned to specific team members and are designed to encourage discussion and collaboration. A pull request represents a change, such as adding, modifying, or deleting files, which the author would like to make to the repository. Pull requests are used to resolve issues. Go ahead and click around in the class repository now to familiarize yourself with its contents.
Okay, good. Let's have a look at our repository. We will navigate to the code tab, and here we can see our files and directories we have here. So, for example, in a layouts a directory, we have some HTML pages. Also, in the root of our repository, we have a README file which contains a description of our repository, and we can see it here in the bottom of the page. So it is some information that programmers are usually used to show the main information about the repository. Okay, let's go back to our issues and watch one more video how we can use directly these issues.
Let's dive a little deeper into issues. Here, I will create an issue titled Class Goals. Let's look at some of the special features and issues that you will use to collaborate with your team. GitHub uses a syntax called Markdown to help you add basic text formatting to issues. One of our favorite features is the @mention. When you @mention someone in an issue, they will receive a notification, even if they are not currently subscribed to the issue or watching the repository. You can use the Preview tab to see how your comment will be rendered. You can also add pictures by simply dragging and dropping them into the comment field or clicking the file uploader link. Click the green comment button to add your comments to the discussion. As you can imagine, a large project can have hundreds of issues. Let's look at a few ways your project team can organize issues. First, you can assign issues to anyone with access to the repository. Typically, this will be the person who is currently responsible for the next step in the life of the issue. The issue assignee may change over time. You can also use labels to help you organize issues. GitHub comes with a number of built-in labels, but you can always delete those or add your own. As a project grows in size, using assignees and labels makes it much easier to find a specific issue. Filters allow you to easily search for issues by creator, labels, assignees, and more. We will continue to explore these features throughout the course. For now, let's practice creating an issue.
Okay, let's go back to our issues. And here we have a first task to assign ourselves at the issue. So let's go a bit upper, find an assignees tab, and assign ourselves. Good. What is about our activity? Yes, here we can see in the history actions that we were assigned in these features. Step number 2, turn on GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages allows to serve a static site from a repository. Our repository has already been filled with some site content, and our task is to run it. Let's open repository settings and activate this option. So go to the settings, find our pages, to the GitHub pages, and in order to activate it, choose our branch. Let's pick the main one. Okay, and save this. Good. Our site should be already published throughout this link, but we usually have about a half or a minute just to wait a bit while GitHub service will be available with this site. So let's try to open this. Nope, still not. Okay, let's wait for some times. So far, any questions maybe, Evgenia? Is there something in our chat?
Yeah, I think so far there are no questions, but I think I want to ask something. So for those of our members that who are just starting, so for example, they can create an account on GitHub and then go to this learning lab, right?
Definitely.
And then they can follow the steps there as well, or they can follow along just with their own page, right?
Sure. It is much more information here in a course when you are going through this. So if you look at these tabs, so it is quite a lot of information about, again, GitHub repository, a lot of documentation. So each terms which you are not understanding or which you are faced for the first time is marked with beautiful pictures. You could tap it and open the documentation to see all of this. So it is much more information here. You could definitely go through this course by yourself. Maybe you found something more interesting for you here. So let's check our site, how it is going. Still not interested. Let's try to open it in incognito page because it might be some cache here. Still doesn't work. Okay, looks like our GitHub is so busy today, so we could follow and then we come back to our site and look at this. Maybe GitHub needs a few minutes to run our site. Okay, never mind. So here we go.
And Artemi, so
Yep.
what kind of website are we actually deploying?
I think now we're going to deploy some simple site, a kind of a slide site, because if you mention in our code page here, we have some dependency to node models, which is called a reveal.js. There is some description here that in this course we are using some open source project reveal.js. It is a JavaScript framework which allows to create your sites quite fast and for I don't know, just for using a few files by yourself, and all the core part is created automatically. So I guess it looks like a slide site.
So it's something that GitHub has already provided us with.
Yeah, definitely. We have
Okay.
all of this information inside. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to our issue. Okay, we turn on our GitHub pages, and now we could close the issue because we finished this. To close the issue, we just go below, close this one. Yep, and we might leave some comment or reopen this issue. Also here in the history, you can see that we close this. Yep, GitHub Learning Bot send us some notifications that, yeah, consider we finished it. Okay, let's go to the next issue. So now we have a previous issue is closed and we have one more issue here. This issue is about contribution. So now we're familiar with some basic things with issues. Let's use this issue to track our path to our first contribution. Usually people use different workflows to contribute to software project, but the simplest and the most effective way to contribute to GitHub is to use GitHub Flow. Let's look at one more video about this with some description of what is the GitHub Flow exactly.
The GitHub Flow is a lightweight workflow that allows you to experiment with new ideas safely without fear of compromising a project. Branching is a key concept you'll need to understand. Everything in GitHub lives on a branch. By convention, the blessed or canonical version of your project lives on a branch called master. When you're ready to experiment with a new feature or fix an issue, you create a new branch on the project. Now, the branch will look exactly like master at first, but any changes you make will only be reflected in your branch. Such a new branch is often called a feature branch, and you should give yours a descriptive name. When you make changes to the files within the project, you'll commit your changes to the feature branch. When you're ready to start a discussion about your changes, you'll open a pull request. Now, a pull request doesn't need to be a perfect work of art. It's meant to be a starting point that will be further refined and polished through the efforts of the project team. When the changes in the pull request are approved, the feature branch is merged onto the master branch.
Okay. So now let's check our site again. Maybe it is run. Hope so. Not. Okay. Who of you guys were quite attractive with our last videos? So maybe we got some mistakes before. I guess the mistake was about the branch we've chose, because in the video we've looked right now, we see that it usually called a master branch with as a main branch of our repository. So let's try to choose our branch to master and run our site at a master branch. Maybe it helps us a bit. Okay, still not found, but yeah. Okay, now it works. Look at our awesome site. Yeah, welcome to our slide desk. It is called use the right arrow to begin, but if I click my right arrow, nothing happens. That's why, because we don't finish our content filling of our site, and later a bit we add with one more pages. So let's go back.
Using GitHub, you can actually like build websites, I guess, and like do some presentations there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
That's it is. So let's go back to our issues, to our steps of our course. What is the next step is to create a branch. As we looked in the video, the branch flow is a common flow for GitHub. Everything you do here is to better do in a separate branch. So let's do one more branch here. We have some suggestions about call it, for example, my slide. Let's go back to the code tab and create a new branch here. So here we already have some main branch, master branch, and some depend bot branch, which was created automatically, I guess. Okay, let's create a new branch. Yep, good. And go back to our issues. What's next? Okay, commit a file. We finally created a branch, and the next step is to commit file. Here we can see some yep, here we can see some rules about commit messages, such as keep your commit messages short, use active voice, and so on. So now commit message is some description of what you've done when you add a file, when you edit file, when you remove some files. You have to let your teammates know what you've done in a short words. So let's make something with our files. Our task here is to add new files called like that, because this name was created automatically in order to work well with our site. We add this to posts folder and add some information about our slide. Okay, so let's go back to the code tab. Add some file, create a new file. Okay, add here some path. We definitely have to check this once again. Yep, it is a full path because we wanted to put our files in a posts folder. So let's copy this path. Open our code in a new tab here. Just add file, create new file. Add here a path. It's added automatically with the posts folder, and add some content here. Yep, copy this one. Paste. Okay. So after this, we write some comment. For example, we add a new slide. We add this commit directly to our new branch and commit this file. Okay, done. Now we could see this file, that we have a name of this file, a name of our commit, and a time when it was created. So as it is quite old course, for example, a previous file was created about 4 years ago, and our second file is created right now. Okay, it is a good job, but we still have this file only in our branch. Thus, it is time to share our changes through the pull request. So first of all, let's go back and know a bit more about pull request. So watch some short video about it. What is this exactly?
Pull requests are used to propose changes to the project files. A pull request introduces an action that addresses an issue. It's considered a work in progress until it's merged into the project. Now that you've created a file, you'll open a pull request to discuss the file with your teammates. You'll notice GitHub knows that you have added changes to your branch and helpfully recommends that you start a pull request. Go ahead and click the big green button to start your pull request. Notice that we can use the dropdown here to compare any two branches. We'll leave the default selected. GitHub pre-populates the pull request title with your commit message, but you can update this to help your collaborators better understand the intent of your change. Below, you can leave a comment to describe the changes you made and why. As a best practice, you should reference the original issue or issues using the number sign notation. When you're finished, choose the option to create a pull request. Similar to the discussion thread on an issue, a pull request creates a discussion about the changes being made to the repository. This discussion is found in the Conversations tab. The Commits view contains information about who's made changes to the files. Each commit represents an updated view of the repository, which allows us to see how changes have happened from commit to commit. The Files Changed view allows you to see the change that is being proposed. We often call this the diff. Notice that some of the text is highlighted in red. This is what's been removed. The green text is what's been added. If you notice something needs to be changed, you can click on the line number in this view to create a line comment. Line level comments are a great way to give additional context on recommended changes. Notice that the line comment was added to the main conversation. If your comment is more general in nature, you can also add a comment to the pull request using the same method we learned for issues. Most project teams require someone to sign off on the change before it's merged. We like to use emoji to show our approval. In the previous lab, you created a file. Next, you'll create a pull request for your file.
Okay, good. So let's follow this. Okay, pull request is a kind of a conversation which is made to show that you are going to apply some change in the project. So let's open one. Let's go back to the code tab. Here we can see a notification from a GitHub about that my slide branch has recently pushed about 3 minutes ago. Let's compare it with the master branch and create a pull request. Here we can choose comparing branches. So as we run our site from our master branch, let's put a master here. Oh, we can't do this. Okay, never mind, because we don't have a new. It is automatically, I guess, goes to the master page. So we could run it on our main page and compare our new branch with the master. I guess we don't have some rules, rules to add this to a master. So it will go out automatically with some continuous integration here. So now we just, as our main branch is a default, we could merge to our default branch from our branch that we've created before. So here we could see the name of our commit. It's created automatically because we have only one committed. Automatically put name of our commit to name of our pull request. And here we could see the changes in our files. So here we could check that the branches we are going to compare. We could also write some this description. Once again, look at the changes, and if everything correct, we could open or create our pull request. So it is done. And what do they want? So our learning bot wants us to add some description. Yeah, definitely. It is commonly a bad practice to leave our pull request without any description. So let's provide this one. Yeah. Let's add it and add some descriptions that we some awesome our site. Okay, let's update our comment. We have to fix it. Okay. Add a new slide, respond to review. Okay, so it's time to review. Let's look at this. We could open a file, changes, looks one again what we've added. Okay, I think we could go back to our issues and maybe, oh, it is already closed. So let's go back to pull request, looks what we're going to have here. Oh, okay, he advised us to replace some lines. So we wanna, if we decided that we still haven't finished our work, we wanna add something to our files after we upload the files to our repository, we could definitely do this via a new comment. Okay, we could add some more changes to our file. So we go to our file changes tab, open the file, and edit this. For example, it was recommended to add some changes in a line 5. So part of our text, I don't know, LUT here. Let's save our files with new changes. Description. And commit these changes also to our slide. Okay. Now we could see 2 commits here, and in the file changes, we could see these changes also. Let's go back to our conversation. Okay, here in the history, we also could see all the differences. So if now everything is okay, we could check it once again that we have 2 commits, we have right files, and if everything is okay, we could merge correctly this pull request. But before, let's check our site once again that we still don't have any changes here. Let's open it. Yeah, we still have only 1 page here. Okay, 1 out of 1. Let's go back. Let's merge this pull request. Yep, confirm. Yep, pretty well. Nice work, bot. Notes us. Yep. So now we could look at this once again. Our beautiful site. Yep. Let's open it once again in incognito tab in order to check this. Oh, not now. Let's wait for a few minutes. Maybe there is some questions so far, Evgeny, in the chat.
Or not. So yeah, I guess it can be sometimes pretty overwhelming like especially if it's very new. But I, as you mentioned, I think some people can also access this lab, and we will post a link to the lab, and maybe they can like try it out themselves as well. And if you have some questions, reach out to us, and Artemi will answer them.
Yeah, definitely. It has very beautiful step-by-step description. If you've mentioned in all of the issues which are closed now, we have a lot of description, a lot of links to documentations, a bit more videos than I show you today. For example, one more video about not notifications of GitHub and so on. There's many information here. Let's go back to our site. Check if it works. Not. Okay. Let's go back to our pull request and look at this one once again. What we've done. Yeah. That we merge my slide to the main branch. So I guess now we have to try to look at our branches here. If we look at our master branch, open the posts, and unfortunately we don't have our file here. So let's try to run our site from our main page, because our main page contains our main branch contains this file. So let's go back to the settings page and run our site from the main branch. Yeah, let's now again wait a bit. I hope it runs.
Artemi, yes. While we wait, we have a question.
Oh, yeah.
So Jumana, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So she asks, what kind of projects do you use GitHub for while studying at LUT?
That's an interesting question, because I am a first year student exactly in LUT, so we don't have a lot of projects related to some code writing exactly here. But before, I've used GitHub for some sharing my code with my classmates in order when we done some programming labs in a groups in order to run also the same sites using GitHub Pages. It is also a good tool to share your ideas with the code when you want to solve some tasks. You add some basics to the code, then you create a pull requests together with your friends. You discuss in a pull requests which idea was good, which idea wasn't. So when you open your pull requests, as I've already mentioned, is a kind of a conversation. So you could discuss, you could assign each others to features. You could mention your friends in a pull request and ask them, so what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So GitHub is a very powerful tool when you want to do something together with your friends. And also when you do something alone, it is a good place to store your own projects. It is a good place to have some history of your changes, what you've done before, what you're gonna do next in this course. And you could also easily provide the link to your work to your professor or to some person who are going to evaluate your work, so you don't have to send directly some archive with the files. You could just give or provide a link to your public repository, and everyone could see your work, what you've done by step. Look at your conversation and look how it goes right now without some special runs in a local environment. So I'm talking about exactly about this GitHub pages, is that you can easily run some simple site with your work here, just from your repository, just to choose your branch, your folder, and run your site. Oh, close this one. So hope it works sometimes. Still not. Still only one slide we have here. Okay, GitHub so busy today. Never mind. We have one more point to add here. So we've discussed the main points how to start working with a GitHub. We've learned something about GitHub issues, created a branch, added few comments, make pull requests, and finally merged it. Of course, we've made our slide site from our repository using GitHub Pages, but what else? Does all the programmers upload all their hundred of files using a web interface of a GitHub? Definitely not. It is not quite convenient for all the developers with a huge project to upload file one by one with different commits. Definitely not. And I'm going to show you one of many programs for comfortable and fast interaction with the Git. Such tools are usually called Git clients, and there are many different Git clients with graphical user interface or command line interface only. You may choose any you want. So personally, I use Fork, and I'll show you how to operate with such Git clients because all of them has the same basic workflow. So let's open the fork. And now we have to create new local repository in order to connect this local repository with our repository on the GitHub.
Artemi,
Yeah.
yeah, just a side note, because we can't see your desktop now.
Oh, you could see only my only my browser, right? So,
Yeah, I think right now it kind of cut off. So right now we're more listening to audiobook.
okay. Let's try to rerun this. I'm sorry. Screen share. Yep. Okay. Could you see it right now?
We see the web page right now. So yeah, now it's working.
Okay. So while we're talking, let's check it once again. Oh yeah, it is uploaded now. So we could use right arrow to begin, I guess. And if we use it, yeah, we could look for our second slide that we have our message here. Hello from LUT. Yeah. That's worked pretty well. So that's what I'm talking about. We have wait for a few minutes to give GitHub some time to run this. That's great. So I guess now you have to. Oh, it is. Maybe that's why I pushed this button. Yeah, when I try to open my fork. I'm extremely sorry. Yeah, could you see my fork now?
Can.
Yeah, that's good. So sorry for this. Yeah. So let's create a new local repository. Create a new folder. For example, how it calls GitHub slideshow. It doesn't really matter how you name your local your local folder, but for better understanding, it is better to link it with the GitHub repository name. So let's pick this one. Okay, now we have this local repository, and we allocate it with a local folder. So next we have to connect this repository with our GitHub repository. To make this, we have to add a remote repository here. So we add a new one, add a name. So let's put it basically, it is called origin. It is a kind of a one more step in a GitHub workflow. That's something when you connect with your remote repository, it's usually called origin. And let's add a link to our repository here. You could pick it just from a URL tab here or copy it from here. Okay. Choose another account. Yep, right account for here. There's the connection success. Yep, add new remote one. So we can, yeah, there's the connection, done it. But now we don't know anything about this repository. Let's fetch this. GitHub Fetch command allows to fetch all the latest changes from our remote repository to our local repository. Here we have a button for this fetch. Okay, everything is up to date, and we could look at our repository. We have all the branches that we've created before. So we have master, main branch, automatically branch by board, and my slide branch that we've created before. So let's create a local branch in order to connect this local changes with the remote changes. So let's put it here. If we just double tap at our remote branch, it's suggested to track this remote branch and create a new local branch which tracks this remote branch. So let's change a bit its name. So make it local, just for better understanding. Yeah, and track. Okay, good. It automatically connects with our remote repository, and here we could see all of changes that were done in this repository before. That some GitHub teacher makes these comments, these commits to a repository. Here we could also see our commits in our branch. So here, orange one is the main branch. This yellow one is in our new branch, and our two commits is a point. So we add new slide, we edit new slide content, and here we have our local branch. So okay, what is the next one? We added some new local branch. Let's put it here. Local my slide. Yeah, wherever it is. Oh, it was created from origin my slide branch. Yep. As we are going to create something new here, let's put this branch to be equal to our main branch. So let's just reset it here without any changes. Yep. So now we could see that our local branch is equal to our origin main branch. Origin here means that it is a remote repository as we named it before. And now we could also look at our Finder. We could see that all of our files from our remote repository are now here in our folder. For example, we could open the files that we've added before. So let's open this, for example, with Visual Code Studio and make some changes here. For example, we change this line from to LUT, for example, from fork. And for example, I got some mistake and had some, I don't know, some unexpected information here. Okay, let's save our file. And our fork automatically tracks all of the changes we do in this folder with these files. So here we could look at this, that we change our line number 5, we changed exactly this word. And we add something that we, for example, don't want to add to our commit. So we could exactly choose the changes we wanted to stage and add some comment. For example, here we are going to edit our second slide. Okay, and here we could see a changes which is staged. That means that they are going to be included into our next commit. And these changes, we could do nothing with them. Then we could just delete them or discard. Yep. And we still have this one. Yeah, let's commit it. And look what we've done here. So now we can see that our local branch is changed from our main branch for a one commit. So our main branch located here, and one commit above is located near our local branch. What we could do next? We have to add these changes, which are now locally to our repository. So how to deal with this? We use push command in order to add our information to remote branches. We could push it directly to our main branch, but as we've talked before, it is a bad practice. So for every feature, for every changes you've done with your repository, it is better to create a separate branch. So we've pushed our changes in a branch we've created before, because it is the same feature. So it is nothing but to add this to our my slide branch that we've created before. Okay, let's push this. And now we could see that our origin my slide branch is one commit above the main branch. Let's go back to our GitHub. Let's update this page. And let's go to create a pull request. Usually it's suggest you to compare, but now we have some backward comparing here. It is, we are not going to compare master branch or some other branch with the main. So let's create new pull request and compare main branch with our new slide branch. So we could hear our commit that added our second slide, and here we could see a changes. So we create a pull request for this. Then if everything is okay, we could merge this. And now we have to see our changes at our side. Still not. Okay, we have to wait once again, but we could definitely check it right now that we're now in the main branch. Let's go to posts folder, open our file, and yeah, we have some change here. By the way, you could look your files exactly in a GitHub web interface. So now you know one more option how to use Git with local files. Please, while we are waiting till our site is updating, feel free to ask any questions. Evgenia is there. any more questions in the chat?
Yeah, I think so far there are no questions. So basically, like fork, as I understood, it's like next level. I mean, just not next level, but just another way that like kind of next level programmers are dealing with commits and working with code, right?
It is just easily help you to interact with the GitHub, because of course you could add all of your files manually or use command line a command line to upload all files you have to your repository. But fork helps you a bit. It provides very comfortable graphical user interface when you understand how to work with this. It has just 3 main buttons you need. Is just fetch, pull, and push that we already described. Fetch helps you to fetch all the remote files with local files. Pull helps you to download these files if we have something new in the remote branches. It helps you to pull these changes from remote branches to your local branches, and push vice versa allows you to upload all the changes from local branches to remote branches. Also, it is a very powerful tool for track all of the changes you do with the files. So for example, when you work, I don't know, even with some Word files, with some text files, with some programming files, and after a month you forgot, oh, what changes I've made, what is good one, what is a bad one. Fork allows you easily to track all of your changes. That's what we've done before with this file. If we correct something here and in here, save a file, go back to fork, we could track all of them. We could decide which is good and are going to be our next commit, which are not good and we are going to discard them, or maybe we are going to stash all of these files for future using. So I'm not going to say that it is some for experienced programming. It's look a bit difficult because all of these different branches, which are maybe not quite easy to understand on the first sight, but it helps you a lot if you understand how to use this fork and understand even basic concepts of GitHub Flow when you create a new branches for new features. So there are no necessity to exactly use fork. You could use any other tool you want. There are a lot of tools with graphical user interface, a lot of tools with command line interface, and so on. So you can choose any. By the way, you can also choose just only a GitHub site to download and upload your files. It is your way. Something like that. Let's check once again our site. Yes, it is updated now. We have new information messages here. So if there are no more questions in our chat, let's conclude what we've done today. We've tried to guide you throughout everything you need to start contributing, from managing notification to managing pull requests. We look at different options for working with files in our repository. And finally, we create a site using predefined GitHub Pages functional. So now let's go back to our slides and back to Evgenia.
Thank you, Artemi, and thank you for your questions as well. And it was very nice to see that someone is actually interacting and is curious about the GitHub. So yeah, like it was very nice to have you in this session, and we're just gonna say a couple of more words so we can go to the next slide. And Tamara will say something about our upcoming event. And Tamara?
Yeah, thank you, Evgenia, and hello everyone. Tamara here. Evgenia and I are responsible for the social media posts generally, and also other core team responsibilities. And we are planning to organize a technical day, which varies with various speakers, probably between maybe 26th to 28th of November, and we are to invite our LUT professors, Mr. Pedro Nardelli, for our next technical day, and he will give us few interesting ideas of Internet of Things, which is taught by him at the university at this moment. And we will have two more speakers, and we will inform you the correct date and time through our social media posts as soon as possible. Yeah, thank you.
Tomorrow, so we'll give you more information about this upcoming event very soon, hopefully. And it will be, yes, as Tamara mentioned, it will be with 3 speakers, and hopefully it will be a fun, interesting day. And now we can go to the next slide and just conclude our session. So yeah, if as you're a member of our chapter, you can scan this QR code or go to the link, and I will paste it to the chat. And you can just get a very nice badge that you're a member of our Google Developers Club. So you can just click the link and it should add the badge to your profile on Google Dev automatically. So yeah, if you have any issues with that, just reach out to us through Facebook or LinkedIn or Google Dev directly. So this is, yeah, a very nice badge that you can claim as our member. So yeah, I think that's pretty much concludes our session today. Very much for joining us, and this recording will be available on YouTube as well. And we will provide you with the link to the collab with the upcoming post on Facebook. So you will have a chance to maybe to go through the lab work with more details, or just maybe get sidetracked a little bit as well. And do follow us on Facebook, Google Dev, and LinkedIn. I guess you already do, for like more announcements about the upcoming events. We also have a survey that you can undergo, and it's basically asking about your it's very few questions, right, Artemi?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's about your programming level, and then what topics are you interested in. This way we can tailor our sessions to our audience more easily, and maybe hold some events that interests you the most. So yes, thank you very much from my side. And any final words from the rest of my team?
Yes, I would like to say just thank you everyone who participated our workshop today. I hope you got some interesting practical skills, or at least you are now excited in contributing to GitHub, or learning more by yourselves, by tracking GitHub Lab with other courses. So let me just show you that we've introduced on our first GitHub session that there is a huge GitHub Lab platform with millions of different courses. We've just covered today just one course, Introduction to GitHub, but there are much more courses about different topics about GitHub, about programming skills, and so on. So it is just enormous a library for you to search to find courses you're interested in, and so on. And by the way, as Evgenia mentioned before, please feel free to ask any questions to us, to contact us directly. You have all the contact details in our Facebook group. Yeah, we appreciate to help you with all of the problems you faced connected to your study and related to our information on these courses. Yep. And thank you once again for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much and have a great weekend then.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.